Well, my mom and dad divorced when I was 8, and so my dad moved away. We dealt with poverty. I dealt with kids bullying me at school for having red hair and freckles. And then when my mom remarried when I was 11, my stepdad sexually abused me. I met my boyfriend when I was 15 years old. At 17, he started forcing me to go out and work the street. I felt pretty worthless before I met Greg. And I think that's what he targeted. So he put these thoughts into my brain that my friends really weren't my friends and my family didn't really love me. And he put it in my head that he was the only person that would ever love me. I completely believed him. He became my trafficker for the next 13 years and having 3 children with him. And you have to understand, I thought we were boyfriend and girlfriend. I wasn't his prostitute. I didn't believe I was his prostitute. I was his girlfriend. He is the father of my children. We love each other. I'm only doing this to get by right now. Our daughter needs diapers, our daughter needs formula, whatever it is. We just need to do this right now. And as time went on, yes, then the beating started and the drugs started and the threats started until it became a full-fledged, prostitution ring. But at that point, I always presented myself as a single mother with 2 kids. That is my presentation to the world. I made sure they always got all of their, immunizations. I took them to a doctor on the regular basis. We moved around so much that they moved schools like every 3 months. And we would change doctors, just as much, but they would just transfer the case to the new doctor and then transfer the case to the new doctor or just take my word of what their medical history was. So I didn't feel judged or stigmatized. What I felt was invisible. I remember I used to go in a lot for just back pain. I remember the nurses being very busy, very overwhelmed. They have so much on their plate that I didn't want to be a burden on them because I didn't feel that I was worthy being bothered over. There's these little tiny cries of help, and sometimes they're silent, but it's that intuition. I think a lot of it is that, you have to be able to feel somebody's heart, and something's not right here. Is there something else going on? Instead, I would get the education of, make sure you're wearing condoms, blah, blah, blah. But nobody ever kind of stopped to just go, is there something else going on? I found my freedom when I ended up being found guilty of promoting prostitution because he made me help him by driving the other girls to turn tricks. And I ended up doing 2 years in prison, and it was actually really wonderful. It's really horrible to say, but yeah, I found my freedom while I was in prison because I think finally I was safe from him. I've written a book, and life continues, Sex Trafficking and My Journey to Freedom. I use my experience of being trafficked to educate others.